A former Marine on his way back to the United States after 4 years in a Russian prison on what President Trump calls a humanitarian basis. Russian officials say Robert Gilman beat a police officer after creating a disturbance on a train. His sentence was extended twice after he allegedly assaulted prison workers. Gilman is believed to be very sick. His sister saying there's no other reason that Robert is alive today other than President Trump heard about the case and took action. That action, what is that action? Apparently, it included a conversation with the Russian President Vladimir Putin. President Trump also says he talked with Gilman in just the last few hours. He said the ex-Marine had one request: a great cheeseburger when he lands. President Trump saying he'll take care of that. Keir Simmons is tracking this story from Saudi Arabia. No word yet from the Russians, but what else do we know about how Gilman's doing and the other Americans who are still in Russia?
Well, I think what we have most of all is that photograph, which is bittersweet, right, Hallie? I mean, it's an amazing picture of him on a plane with the stars and stripes, but you're also struck by how frail he looks, and it does contrast with the way that he looked in 2024 when he was convicted and jailed inside Russia. Look, he's a former Marine, he's a fit guy, but clearly you can see in that picture what his sister was talking about, that she was very, very concerned that he might die if he stayed in a Russian prison. And as you mentioned, his jail term had been extended by 10 years after altercations with prison guards. His original conviction for an altercation with a police officer inside Russia was a case that wasn't getting that much attention. And now, of course it did. And then this announcement from President Trump. President Trump, as you say, says that he spoke to President Putin. Look, President Putin hasn't talked about it. The Russians haven't talked about it. There isn't an exchange here, though. It is, as far as we know, according to President Trump, simply a handover. And I think the Russians will have been concerned about Gilmore's condition, and also very likely think that it's an opportunity to do something to maybe shift things forward in terms of talks between Russia, the US, and Ukraine.
Keir Simmons, live for us in the region there. Keir, thank you very much.
We thank you for watching. And remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.